Meteorology is by no means an easy field, especially if you have an advanced and technical position like me. I'm Gordon Kavanagh, a Latvian meteorologist, and I was one of the 6 meteorologists that went to a weather station in northern Nunavut for 2 weeks. We were there just to fill in for the next group of meteorologists that came in. A group of 12, so we weren't the big deal, just the ones making sure the station is up and running. The group I was in was made up of Yash K. Singh, Oleg Sichov, Stefan Joven, Dovydas Pavel, and Angel Crespo. They've all been in the meteorology field for a while like me. I've been a meteorologist for over 17 years. None of us have been up to Canada except for Yash, an Indian immigrant in Ontario, though I don't know how much that's going to help us in Nunavut out of all places. Hell, I haven't even heard about Nunavut until briefing. After arriving at the Iqaluit airport, we deported off of the coast of Iqaluit and went around the coast of Baffin Island until our arrival at Bylot Island. It took 2 days, and we were glad to be off the boat, but we were greeted with a very intense cold. It's hard to remember exactly how we reacted, but it was like among the coldest places we've ever been to, I'm sure. We made our way to the weather station, and by that time, it was turning night, so we decided it was best to just warm up and take a rest. That night was fine. It was the morning where everything went wrong. We didn't actually have any work to do until tomorrow, so we had a whole day in the middle of nowhere on a frozen island. As you would imagine, it quickly got boring. Yash, Oleg, Stefan, and Dovydas passed the time with drinking, while Crespo just disappeared. I still don't know where he went, but I wasn't paying attention. I was having fun doing, the immature stuff we guys do. Personally, I'm a teetotaler, so I don't drink, thankfully, because I was sober. I could actually recall what happened. Yash dared Dovydas to go through Crespo's personal locker since he wasn't here, and that he did. Dovydas went through his locker, and for the most part, it was normal. Well, except for some Sanrio collector stuff, which we relentlessly made fun of him for while he wasn't here. And then Dovydas saw an opaque bottle with a taped-on piece of paper labeled Alan's Amazon water. Sorry, slipped up there. What the hell is Amazon water? Water from the Amazon River? If so, then what was it doing all the way out here in Nunavut? And who is Alan? I had an idea at first. I thought that maybe Crespo was superstitious or something, like one of those people that like to have random items on them at all times for good luck or whatever. And Alan was a friend of his who gave it to him. We all agreed amongst ourselves that that was the truth of it. And we were about to put it back when Dovydas pointed out something while he was holding it. The water is warmer than the room temperature. Water usually isn't like that, in fact. Anything, it's usually cooler. So we opened the bottle. An unpleasant smell hit us practically the moment the lid came off. It smelled like rotting milk or something, I don't know, but it was terrible. We plugged our noses while Dovydas looked in. What the? It's white and thick. Stefan was just grossed out, so he up and left the room. I remember Yash going over and exclaiming, "What is that?" so loud that I'm pretty sure Crespo could have heard us wherever the hell he was. Yash, in disbelief I'm pretty sure, looked back in a second time. Quickly, a wide grin formed across Dovydas' face. Putting his palm against the bottom of the bottle, he pushed up. Yash fell back, and the contents of, well, whatever the hell that fluid is, began to empty into Yash's mouth. Yash hit Davidas in the face, and the bottle fell. Everybody jumped away from the seeping liquid coming out of the bottle. Yash and Davidas almost got into a fight, but Oleg helped break it up. Stefan heard screaming, so he came back, only to leave again after saying, "No, I'm not dealing with that." Stefan on his way bumped into Crespo. Crespo stared at us like Ted Bundy, with only blackness behind those eyes. I genuinely felt on edge. The longer he continued staring, the more intense my fight or flight reaction would kick in. It was only a few seconds, but the deafening silence was broken when Davidas immediately started pointing his finger at Yash and blaming him for going through his locker and dropping it. Yash explained that Davidas made him do it. While they were talking, Crespo just left the room. I went to go follow him and ask him what the hell was that, but I lost track of him. Davidas ended up mopping it up, but Yash used some air freshener to get rid of that smell. Finally, that event would be gossiped on for quite a bit after, but besides that, all was normal. At least we thought. It was turning night. We had passed by the whole day, and the real work started tomorrow. We decided that we would go to sleep early after being so rowdy today, so that we could get some good shut-eye for work. Although we couldn't go to sleep yet, Crespo was still gone. This place isn't that large. I don't know how we couldn't find him. We were calling his name and searching him. Yash thought that he was hiding for some reason on the basis that he's some sort of weird psychopath, while Stefan was worried he might have passed out in a bathroom or something. While we were looking, Oleg shouted, "Guys, over here, quick!" We heard banging coming from the room he was in. I looked Davidas in the eye for a second, and then we ran in. Oleg was banging his fist against the window. We looked out and it was just nothing, just the snow and the ice. Crespo left. He literally was walking around outside. I asked him if he was sure that he saw that, and he was absolutely sure. It's dangerous to be even out in the day. The fact that it was a freezing cold night made it only worse. Me and Oleg were the tallest and most stockiest out of everybody. We thought that we might have to drag him back here considering what Oleg saw him wearing, and it was hardly appropriate for the weather. Oleg volunteered to go out. I agreed to give him my hot hands pocket warmers because, well, he didn't have his own for some reason. And off he went. We watched as he walked off into the night. We don't have handheld radios or anything considering, well, who the hell was going to do what Crespo did? Nobody thought we would need to prepare for this crap. Nobody heard him leave the station. Me and Yash discussed how he could have, while Stefan went to the radio room to contact our superiors and tell them just what was going on. Stefan shouted. We rushed over to see what was happening. There was a broken chair lying on the ground. The radio was smashed to pieces, and the window was broken. Looks like it was broken from inside to outside. Well, guess we found out how Crespo got out. Me, Davidas, Stefan, and Yash waited for Oleg to come back. Davidas was looking intently at his watch. It's been 10 minutes. How long does it take to get this short, round guy back in here? If he tries to put up a fight about going back, I'm pretty sure Oleg could KO him. He's like a titan in comparison. He continued, Gordon, do you want to go see what's up? Yeah, I would say I was being more of a, for lack of better words, a pussy than usual. Hell no. You can go if you're so confused, so curious, sorry. I said back to him. He begrudgingly agreed. I'm not curious. There's just, literally nothing but ice out there. I just hope Oleg is safe. We're childhood friends, you know? Oh wait, sorry, you don't. If you had any close friends, you would know that, Gordon. It was a really personal jab, but to be fair, I could have been nicer when I denied his prompt. Davidus left. It felt like hours had passed. Me, Yash, and Stefan were all on edge. Stefan was the chill, calm guy, but despite that, even he was scared. I'm not waiting a second longer. Take my watch, Yash said as he gave it to me. I accepted it and put it on my wrist. It's been 15 minutes since Davidus left. Davidus, Oleg, and Crespo are still not back. I was worried for Yash, and I told him that, but I understood that somebody has to go and save Davidus and Oleg. Sorry for the interjection from when I'm writing this right now, but I think it's fairly important to know. I feel very guilty about this. I wish that I just wasn't such a pushover, and that I went out to go help Davidus and Oleg, and maybe everything could have been fine. Well, fine enough, compared to what happened. Anyways, back to what happened. Stefan pulled out his phone. Hey, why don't we call them? Why didn't we do that before? He exclaimed. I don't want to be too rude here, but Stefan isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. There's no service or Wi-Fi or nothing. Did you see any phone cables on your way here? I said. He understood and slowly began to put his phone back in his pocket out of disappointment. I had an idea. Wait, take it back out, Stefan, and give it to me, I instructed him. He gave me his phone. Not with the lock screen, dude, I said. Stefan quietly unlocked the phone in a moment of awkwardness and handed it back to me. I'm gonna go get Davidus and Oleg. I'll use this phone as a flashlight since it's incredibly dark, and I'll bring them back. Best bet is they got lost in the dark of the night. I'll just follow their footsteps. Also, if anything is out of the ordinary, I'll take a picture for you, okay? Stefan agreed to my idea, then I was off on my way. I took Stefan's hot hand pocket warmers because I didn't have any of my own since I gave it to Oleg. I was walking for what felt like forever, but I looked at my watch and it wasn't even 10 minutes yet. It's this place, I swear. I don't know who lives in Nunavut and why, but please, never go to this place. Even outside of what happened to me and my crew. Anyways, back to what was going on. It's hard to talk about this part. This is where my PTSD stems from. I've never been the same since this moment, but I'll try my best to explain subjectively just what exactly happened. The footsteps started coming to an end. I didn't see Davidus or Oleg. I stood there for a moment. I was tired. I was worried. I was cold. I was hungry. I thought that I must have somehow walked by them and missed a trail. Maybe they just went through the trees. I went to take a picture at the end of the trail to show Stefan. When I got back, that they seemed to have just abruptly ended. I found it strange. I guess they went back in that moment. Something that still scars me for life happened. I heard a growl and the gritting of teeth. I froze out of fear. I thought it was some wild animal. That's when Crespo's face emerged from the darkness. I took a picture. His body started to come out of the darkness, and he was absolutely covered in blood. I gasped for air. I couldn't even scream. I ran back as fast as I could, tripping on my own feet. I'm pretty sure I sprained my ankle or something, but I felt a sharp pain and I fell over to the side of the path of footsteps, and I found myself staring directly into the face of Oleg's lifeless corpse. I was about to scream when a hand from behind me covered my mouth. "Shh! It's going to hear us! Turn off your flashlight!" Davidus hissed at me. I stopped screaming into his hand and turned off my flashlight in haste. I was about to get up, and Davidus stopped me. We laid there, motionless. I could hear the footfalls of Angel Crespo running down the path. He passed by us in practically a blur. There's no way I could have outran him. "Gordon, I saw underneath his medical mask or whatever, his mouth was hardly human. It was full of rugged teeth, and he was aggressively salivating and growling. He looked like a rabid wolf with rabies. He literally ate Oleg's lungs out. We need to get back, but I can't go. Crespo started tearing me up and eating me. I just pretended to be dead and it worked. But I can't go on much longer. I'm losing too much blood. You have to go on without me. Go get Stefan. Go. Crespo's going back to the station." The moment I heard his words, I sprung up. "I'm so sorry, Davidus. I'll protect Stefan for you. It's the least I can do. You were a great man. Goodbye," I said as I headed off down the path. I was about to collapse when I saw the lights of the weather station. "Jesus!" I was about to exclaim loudly when I hushed myself. There was torn metal and broken glass all over the snow. I picked up a sharp piece of metal like a spear and went back inside. The pipes were busted and paper all over the floor. I came into the room I was in with Stefan. The table was knocked over, the chairs were broken, and I saw Stefan. Well, it was hardly Stefan anymore. There laid a mass of flesh and bone, with patches of skin and sharp splinters of wood strewn around him. It took me a short moment just to process what I saw, and when I did, I vomited. I quickly turned around and left the room when I ran into Crespo at the doorway. It was right behind me. I stared at it while my life left my soul and my blood turned to ice. It scratched me with my sharp fingernails through my face, and at that point it was more like claws. I still have scars across my face from this. I felt his claws rip through my skin like paper. I fell back and hit against the wall. I gripped my face for dear life, but my consciousness was waning, so it wasn't that strong of a grip. Crespo leapt towards me, but thankfully in a moment of clarity and quick thinking, I aimed up that sharp spear of torn metal I had, and it went right through his stomach. A partly digested eyeball fell out of his exposed stomach. It vomited and bled everywhere as it screamed like a dying animal. Hardly human at all. In a blink of an eye, it was running back into the night of the Nunavut wilderness. I slept underneath the bed, with crates and other objects blocking the bottom of the bed. It's safe to say that night I was not feeling safe with sleeping somewhere where he could find me. Though he very well could have found me where I was just luck that he didn't. Thankfully, our superiors were arriving this morning to make sure we were at work because we weren't responding with the radio. What he saw was the brood of it. The station was in the worst condition possible. And I came out the front entrance looking more like I was dead than alive. I was taken back to Iqaluit, where I was treated at a hospital. The police arrived at the scene. Everybody believed it was Crespo, but what nobody believed is what I described of him. That he was more like a wild animal than a human. Critics said that I was just traumatized. My brain had made up a more chaotic and wild version of Crespo, because what I said made him almost sound like a superhuman of some sort. If you've been paying attention, you would know that I took a picture of Crespo on that path in the snow. Well, I still have that photo. In the image you are seeing right now, that is Angel Crespo, the most wild and vicious apex predator to have stepped foot in Nunavut.
Alright, kids, this better be good. I was in the forest wrestling with a bear claw when we got the call. Oh!